action.
John, I'll be doing your virtual walkthrough with you today. First off, you have your coupler here. It's a 2 5/16 ball. Right now the coupler's in the unlock position. To engage it, when you hook it up to the tow vehicle, you're just going to lift up on it and push forward, and that's how it's locked into the trailer. Then to unlock it, you're just going to pull up, pull back. The electric tongue jack here, push the switch down, unit goes down, up, unit goes up, and you do have a nice light on here. There's one on this side as well as here and on here as well. Moving on to the propane tanks. You have dual 20-pound propane tanks here. You do have a regulator that you can switch between the two tanks or have it on one, both tanks pulling off of one first. Once that level gets too low, it'll automatically switch over to the other tank. Right behind the propane tanks is your deep cycle battery. This is a Group 24 deep cycle battery. You want to make sure that the water level stays up in that. You use distilled water on that. Also, don't keep it plugged in all the time, keeping it charged up. It's going to lessen the lifespan of that battery. So periodically plug it in. Plug it in a few days before you go camping, obviously to get the fridge going, cooled off before you load everything up. Moving around to this side, you do have a compartment here. Then you do have your stabilizer jacks. There's a stabilizer jack, one on each corner of the trailer. It's just going to keep it stabilizing from rocking around while you're camping. It's not going to help pick the trailer up or level it. So just keep those just to keep it stable, all right? Moving around in here, you have your intake and your exhaust for your furnace when your furnace is running. The previous customers had installed the bug guards on here, which is a nice feature. Here we have your city water connection. Right now we have the hose hooked up to it, so we have water inside. And then right next to that is your freshwater tank fill. That tank you'll fill if you're going to be boondocking or dry camping and need the onboard water. All right. Down under here, we have the cap off right now, but where that little black valve is, that's where the drain is for the freshwater tank when you're done camping. You're going to want to drain that out and not let that water sit in there and get stagnant. This is access to the backside of the water heater for venting purposes and also for us to be able to service it. And again, the previous customer did install the bug guards on here. You have a black tank flush, which you're going to hook a garden hose up to it only when that black valve is open. That's going to help alleviate all that wastewater out of the black tank. Speaking of that waste valve, that black valve is right here, and then your gray valve is right here. Recommend keeping those closed while you're camping. Use the monitor panel to see what tank level you're at. If you're getting too high, then you can come over, dump that valve, and then use the black tank flush when that valve is open. Once you're done flushing it, close that valve, and then you can open up that gray valve and use that soap water to help rinse your hose out. Then you have your cable satellite hookup right here for campgrounds or if you have a portable satellite dish. And then you have your low point drains. These low point drains are for winterizing purpose. You can take these two caps off and then open up all the faucets, everything, and let all that drain, all that water drain out to the bottom. Got your 30-amp short cord hookup here. This door closes so that eliminate as many critters getting in there while you're camping. Then this cord just pushes back up in there and stores into there. Speaking of storage, you do have space in the bumper for a sewer hose to fit in there as well. Okay. This unit does come pre-wired with a Furrion backup camera, so you can get that added on if you wanted to. Your water heater, it is dual purpose, so it'll work off of propane or electric, and you can actually have them running both at the same time. It'll speed up the recovery rate. But the electric switch is right out here, right next to this black box that says electric heating element. Just come over here and flip that switch on. The other thing you need to know about your water heater is this little drain plug right here. This drain plug is also an anode rod. That anode rod will start deteriorating over time. That rod starts deteriorating over time so that the hard water is eating away at that rod instead of eating away at the lining of the tank. You also want to drain the tank if you're going to be storing the camper for over an extended period of time so that that water doesn't start smelling like rotten eggs. Again, this one does have the bug guards on here. Okay. Got a large storage compartment in here. And it's got the holdbacks. And you got the other storage compartment up here. And then you have your crank handle for your jacks. This goes on the jacks, and you just crank it down and then crank it back up. You can also use a drill with an adapter that we sell, or you can use a 3/4 inch socket. Now the awning, we won't be able to put the awning out all the way, but the awning, you want to make sure heavy winds, heavy rains, that awning's in. You don't want to have any issues with that getting any damage on it. Put it out a little bit here. You'll see that on these, you do have these shocks. Now water will pull up either front or back if it is lightly raining out, and then that arm's gonna collapse and it's gonna dump that water off. The other thing you can do once this is fully extended is with these loosened up, you can actually push this arm up into here and then lock it back down. But you gotta remember to loosen it back up before you go and close that awning back up, okay? Lastly, out here with the steps, you wanna make sure that this threshold is sitting on top of this threshold here. And the way to do that, these have little pins in them, and these legs slide. So when you open up the door, you're gonna take this, open it up. I like to push the legs all the way in and hold them till that threshold sits down, and then just let the legs sit down naturally, and then find the best spot for that pin to go back in, okay? If this is not sitting on top of this threshold, this door will not close, so just be aware of that.